Nicole here with Job Hunt Solutions, and in today's video we're going to look at the pros and cons of contracting. There's a number of pros to contracting, so let's jump into it. Number one is, of course, you generate an income. So whether you are between successes or embarking on different ventures such as going to school or looking at starting your own business, having a contract can sometimes generate immediate income for you in the short term. The second pro is the notion of try before you buy. By taking on a contract opportunity, you can work for an organization and see if you enjoy the culture, the team, the work, before you actually look at potentially working for this employer on a full-time basis. The third pro is that this role may end up going permanent. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door with an organization. Number four, you keep your experience relevant and current by taking on a contract opportunity. This is especially true if you are between successes. In addition, you can increase your experience and your knowledge base in a particular area. This will be especially true to newcomers to a country or to people who are looking to make a complete career change. By taking on a contract, you can sort of pivot your experience from one career to another. And if you're a newcomer to the country, this will also provide you ample opportunity to gain local experience. Next, typically with contracting, the employers pay a bit more. The reason for this is because they're compensating for lack of certain extra benefits that contract employees are eligible for. Another pro to working on contract is the opportunity to network and to meet new people. You never know who you might end up meeting, who could be the lead to your dream job. Another pro to working on contract is that it's usually easier to find a job when you're already working. For many recruiters, the holy grail is the passive job seeker. So if you're working on a contract, likely you're going to be targeted more by recruiters. And finally, because contracting tends to be a less desirable option than working a permanent full-time role, there's less competition in the marketplace of people who are looking for contract opportunities. And with less competition, the better your odds are for getting the interview and even getting the job. Like most things in life, where there's pros, there's also cons. So there are cons with contracting. Although my cons list is much shorter, I realize that these cons can really make or break your decision to going on contract. So to begin, the first con is the uncertainty that comes with working on contract. Not knowing whether or not the contract will be extended or even turn into a permanent opportunity can be very stressful for most people. And it's usually this lack of certainty that makes contracting a less desirable option. The second con is, because of this lack of certainty, you have to keep your job search going. And let's face it, looking for a job is a full-time job, and it's difficult. The next con, we sort of alluded to in the pros, which is lack of benefits. Although employers compensate higher to offset this lack of benefits, it still makes planning very challenging. Whether it's planning a trip or planning your retirement, without benefits, it can be very difficult. And finally, hours worked are hours paid. So if you need to take a personal day or want to go on a vacation, this could be a very expensive proposition because you won't get paid for the time you take. In addition to looking at the pros and cons, there are a few other line items to consider when looking at contract opportunities. The first is how supportive the employer might be to allowing you to take the time necessary to look for another opportunity. This will be especially true closer to the end of your contract if there is no opportunity with that employer for permanent employment or for a contract extension. The next consideration, I know doesn't impact everybody, but it does impact parents. So if you need to worry about child care while working on contract, it can be a bit of a challenge. So my advice is to really research your childcare options that can accommodate the flexibility of your work schedule. And a final consideration for those of you who are considering a contracting lifestyle, so just working on contract, there are some options that you could look into in terms of setting yourself up in Canada as a sole proprietor or incorporated. In the United States, it would be the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. Most countries have their own systems in place to allow for self-employed people. The benefit to this is usually in the form of better tax implications for self-employed people. With more and more employers looking to augment their staff with contract employees, it's becoming increasingly important for people to really consider all of their options when looking into contract opportunities. Generally speaking, contract opportunities present themselves through recruitment agencies. Now, I've got a video that I posted before, and you can find it up here, on working with recruiters. But generally speaking, they're a fantastic resource when it comes to looking at becoming a contract employee. If you're considering taking on contract opportunities, I do hope you found this video helpful. If you like this video, please be sure to press the like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any other hints and tips or ideas of what people should consider when they're looking at contract opportunities, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, if you have any other video ideas, any questions, or would like to collaborate with me, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me on email, Twitter, Facebook, or link in with me on LinkedIn. And for personalized advice, please check out my website. I'd be happy to help. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy hunting!